Artificial intelligence has been a force for good, offering numerous benefits to our modern world. However, it is essential to acknowledge that there will inevitably be adverse repercussions alongside these positive aspects. We must begin contemplating these potential consequences early on to effectively manage and mitigate any dangers that may arise. To adequately anticipate and address the potential drawbacks of AI in the technology industry, the first step is to identify and consider some of these potential adverse effects. Renowned physicist Stephen Hawking issued a cautionary statement, emphasizing that the successful development of AI could mark a monumental event in the history of civilization, either for the better or the worse. We cannot predict whether AI will be an infinite source of help, dismiss and leave us behind, or even pose a conceivable threat that could destroy us. First, let's talk about privacy. The right to privacy faces a clear risk, especially when considering the potential for unauthorized access to one's online activity data. However, even if someone consciously chooses to remain disconnected as an offline user, their right to privacy remains in jeopardy, such as when navigating through a smart city. AI's broad array of tools and applications brings many potential problems and risks. Among the most significant concerns is the issue of privacy. With AI becoming an integral part of our lives, avoiding its influence is challenging. No matter where we are, technology's reach has connected us to AI. AI has heightened surveillance and taking on a big brother role by constantly monitoring and tracking the data we generate. When we search for shoes online on an e-commerce website and later switch to a social media app, we instantly see shoe advertisements on that platform. It is crucial to recognize that AI has the potential to impact our decision-making skills and our ability to honor personal boundaries. Devices like smart speakers such as Alexa and Google Home listen to our voice commands and gather information about our daily activities. Phones employ iris detection and biometric data, granting AI access to intimate personal details. Given the immense potential and risk associated with AI, it is crucial to subject it to rigorous regulation and scrutiny, with a primary focus on safeguarding human rights, including the right to privacy in all its applications. AI, when it comes to hacking, represents a dual-edged weapon. On the one hand, it offers the potential to address cybersecurity issues, enhance antivirus software, streamline attack detection, automate network and systems analysis, and conduct electronic scans more efficiently. AI is proving to be an aid in enhancing the sophistication of hackers' criminal activities. For instance, it is utilized to cloak malicious codes, allowing malware to remain dormant after downloading an application until a specific time or a certain number of downloads have occurred. AI serves as a protective shield for the malware during this period. Not only does AI enable malware to stay concealed and evade detection, but it also empowers the creation of malware that mimics trust sources. Additionally, AI can facilitate the self-propagation of malware and generate fake identities for individuals, as exemplified by Instagram bots. But what about unemployment? According to an OECD report, even with the current limited development of AI, approximately 14% of global jobs could be influenced by the emergence of AI. The OECD is a global organization that develops policies for equity, prosperity, opportunity, and well-being. AI is more likely to affect jobs that fall under the most exposed category, though not necessarily entirely replaced. The report identifies certain fields as most exposed, predominantly technical occupations requiring highly skilled individuals, such as optometrists and chemical engineers. Introducing AI in these most exposed jobs has brought about positive changes. Workers in these roles have witnessed significant transformations in their job tasks, making manual tasks easier and increasing wages and educational opportunities. AI is not entirely displacing the workforce, but rather enhancing workers' productivity. Overall, the OECD studies present a divided perspective on the impact of AI on employment and wages. It could lead to increased productivity and higher salaries for some, but at the same time, it poses a tangible danger for others if certain processes become fully automated, limiting human intervention and potentially leading to job loss. Ultimately, the consequences of a more advanced AI on the job market remain uncertain. While it might lead to increased productivity and higher wages for certain occupations, it also risks displacing some workers if certain tasks become fully automated, limiting human involvement and potentially leading to job loss. The biggest obstacle facing their business is the impact of inflation caused by artificial intelligence. The inflationary pressures affect everyone individually, but companies are particularly concerned about the implications for their investments. The surge in inflation is creating various challenges for businesses, primarily by increasing their costs, such as labor and materials expense. Consequently, companies are grappling with managing these heightened costs while maintaining their profit margins and overall financial performance. The situation has also presented opportunities for some businesses to raise their prices more aggressively. Since the onset of the pandemic, inflation has surged, leading to wider margins across various industries compared to pre-pandemic levels. It appears that numerous businesses have managed to transfer the additional expenses to their customers, leading to better earnings and increased profitability. As inflation decreases, competition intensifies, and profits will recover to pre-pandemic levels. The Federal Reserve is actively implementing measures, such as higher interest rate, to cool down the economy and address inflation. Despite the uncertainties, businesses enjoy wider margins and improved profitability thanks to their ability to pass on the increased cost to customers. This favorable scenario may not persist as inflation moderates and competitive pressures come to play. The risks of a recession are significant, and we are currently facing a period of high inflation. How? The Federal Reserve has aggressively addressed inflation by raising interest rates. Historically, in such an environment, recessions often follow, although not always. However, there's a possibility that we can navigate through this challenging time without experiencing an economic downturn. While the next 12 to 24 months might be difficult, there are reasons for optimism. Inflation shows signs of moderating, and we have moved past the worst impact of the Russian war and the pandemic. Moreover, certain unique factors are contributing to the economy's resilience. Consumers accumulate excess savings during the pandemic, which has provided them with additional funds to sustain spending despite high inflation. Both high-income and low-to-middle-income households use these savings to support their income and maintain consumption. Additionally, businesses have shown remarkable efforts in retaining their workforce, despite labor shortages before the pandemic. Many business owners recognize that labor shortages are long-term due to the demographic changes and weak immigration. It is imperative to keep workers employed to prevent a decrease in consumer spending and ultimately a recession. Overall, while the coming months might be challenging, there is hope that the economy can avoid a recession due to the moderation of inflation and the unique factors supporting customer spending and business stability. Is AI being used for terrorism? Likewise, there could be new AI-driven forms of terrorism that demand our attention, such as the expansion of autonomous drones and the deployment of robotic swarms, remote attacks, or the use of nanorobots for disease delivery. Our law enforcement and defense organizations must adapt and address these potential threats. Preparing for a future with increased AI applications will require considerable time and human reasoning to ensure that any adverse impacts resulting from its widespread adoption are minimized as much as possible. However, it is important to acknowledge that AI can also be responsibly utilized to combat terrorism and extremism. Its predictive capabilities have been instrumental in counterterrorism efforts, allowing authorities to anticipate and prevent terrorist movements and attacks. The same technology that terrorist groups employ can be turned against them to track and thwart their planned operations. Thus, AI's relevance in the context of terrorism is undeniable, presenting both positive and negative aspects. The outcomes will heavily depend on how AI is developed, applied, regulated by governments, and accessible to different parties. By using AI judiciously and with stringent controls, we can leverage its potential to safeguard against threats while mitigating potential risk. By upholding the global economy, we will ensure the longevity of our world and drive progress as far into the future as possible. If you find this content enjoyable, kindly like, share, and subscribe for more enlightening content.